You know that feeling that the old playbook for building a business just doesn't work anymore? Well, you're not wrong. The world has changed and the rules have changed with it. Today, we're going to lay out the new blueprint, the real one for how innovation actually happens in the 21st century. So let's just get right into it. How do you build something that lasts when the ground is constantly shifting under your feet? And that's not just some philosophical question, right? It is the core challenge for anyone trying to create something new today. And that's exactly what we're going to break down right now. First things first, we have to start with our foundation, the why. Before we can even think about building something new, we need to get a really solid grasp on why the old ways of doing things just aren't cutting it anymore. For decades, we built everything in a straight line. Just think about our industrial food system, for example. You put inputs in one end, a product comes out the other, and all the waste just gets dumped. The big problem here is that this completely breaks all the natural feedback loops. And when the parts of a system can't talk to each other, it becomes super inefficient and, honestly, fragile. One little hiccup in that chain can bring the whole thing crashing down. And that brings us to a totally new way of seeing the world. Yeah, the old linear way was predictable, but our world today isn't a simple straight road. It's more like a bustling city, a complex, adaptive system that's networked, always changing, and full of surprises. Systems thinking isn't about looking at the individual cars. It's about understanding the flow of traffic, the street grid, and how it all works together. Now, stick with me here, because this gets really interesting. This shift in thinking isn't new, it's even reflected in philosophy. This quote from Murray Bookchin basically says that the universe itself has a built-in tendency to organize itself. So what does that mean for you, for an innovator? It means your job isn't to force an idea onto the world from the top down. It's to create the conditions for success to bubble up on its own. It's like building a garden instead of just a product. You're working with these natural forces, not against them. Okay, so now that we've got the why locked in, let's get into the what. This is the actual architectural plan. What are the nuts and bolts, the core pieces you use to design a modern venture? We are living through what's being called the fourth industrial revolution, and that means we have this incredible new toolkit to play with. We're talking about AI, robotics, the Internet of Things, 3D printing, and the real power isn't in any single one of them, it's how they all connect and work together. These are the tools that make all the new mind-bending business models possible. And we can actually see this new architecture right here. This diagram is from a project called Poly 186, and it perfectly shows the move away from that old linear pipeline. This is a platform. What does it do? At its core, it just connects different groups, say producers and consumers. It creates value by making it easy for them to interact within an ecosystem, instead of just selling them a one-time product. And this isn't just theory. Look at a company like Shopify. You probably think they just sell subscriptions for online stores, right? But check out this revenue chart. Way more than half their money comes from what they call merchant solutions. That's not the subscription fee. That's payment processing, shipping, even business loans. Think about that. Shopify makes more money by helping its users become more successful. They didn't just sell a tool, they built an entire economy. Now, a super critical piece of this new architecture is trust. In the old world, companies like Google or Facebook held the keys to your digital identity. But there's a new model emerging called self-sovereign identity, or SSI, and it flips the script completely. It puts you in control. Your data lives in your own digital wallet, and you decide who gets to use it. This is a huge fundamental shift towards real privacy and user control. And of course, new architectures need new economic models. This token allocation chart for that same Poly 186 project shows how it works. Instead of only relying on big investors, these new ventures are creating their own little economies. They can give developers, users, and partners a real stake in the platform's success from the very beginning. Everyone is incentivized to help it grow. Okay, we've got the why and the what. Now for the engine room, the how. How do you actually build and scale one of these things in this new world? The secret really is all about speed and efficiency. 36-to-1, what does that even mean? Well, that is the lifetime average return on ad spend for the entrepreneur Alex Hormozi. That means for every single dollar he puts into advertising, he gets $36 back. That's not luck. It's a system built on understanding the new rules of growth. And here is Hormozi's key insight. In today's world, getting in front of people, reach, is easy. You can always pay for it. The real challenge, the real game, isn't about reaching more people. It's about building an efficient engine that can profitably turn that attention into customers. So how do you build that engine efficiently? Well, the micro SaaS model gives us a perfect blueprint. Forget spending years and a ton of money on some perfect product. You start small. Step 1, validate your idea. Make sure people actually have the problem you think they have. Then build a minimum viable product, an MVP, often with no-code tools. Finally, get it in front of real users and just iterate based on what they tell you. Now this right here is an absolute game changer. No-code platforms have basically democratized software. You do not need to be a coder anymore to build a real business. And the implications of that are just massive. It means the next wave of huge companies might not be built by Silicon Valley engineers, but by experts, people who just deeply understand a problem and can now finally build the solution themselves super fast and super cheap. And humming along in the background of all this is the AI engine. This diagram might look a little complicated, but the idea behind it is simple. AI, like this classifier, is really good at sorting and predicting. It's the magic behind the curtain that powers everything from Hormozi's super efficient ad targeting to the chatbots that can answer customer questions instantly. A venture isn't just code in spreadsheets. To really, truly connect with people, it needs a soul. It needs a message. So the final piece of our blueprint is all about how you communicate your purpose, how you build a brand, and how you create a real community. A strong brand is like your venture's signature. And it is so much more than just a logo. Just looking at this Poly 186 brand guide, you can see how the consistent use of colors and fonts creates this instant recognition and, more importantly, a feeling. Every little piece of it should be telling your story. And this takes us to the next level. Beyond the visuals, the words you choose literally shape your reality and how people see you. Your message isn't just marketing fluff, it's the very language you use to build your world. When you choose your words, you're choosing the world you want to create. Shaping that reality is a deliberate thing. 100 years ago, people like Edward Bernays were mapping out how public opinion works. Now, this isn't about manipulation. It's about understanding that to communicate well, you have to be aware of how groups of people think and the powerful dance between your message and the public's mind. Building a brand means engaging with that dynamic, thoughtfully and with purpose. All right, we've walked through the why, the what, the how, and the message. Now it's time to bring it all home. Because these aren't just separate ideas on a list. The real power is in how they all converge and slam together to create something totally new. And this is the final amazing step. On one side, you have the purely digital blueprint, your code, your business plan, your brand, your message. And on the other, you have technologies like 3D printing that can take that digital information and turn it into something real, something you can hold in your hand. This is the ultimate convergence. Your idea, made tangible, ready to go out and change the world. So there you have it, the foundation, the architecture, the engine, and the message. We've seen how digital ideas can become a physical reality. The old rules, they're gone, but the new blueprint is here, and it's more accessible, more efficient, and more powerful than ever before. The only real question left is, what are you going to build with it?